Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good everything. Hello there. How are you all doing? Beautiful. Yes, we're back into that space again. What's it like at your end? Beautiful. Yes, we've been having, a wonderful and amazing time within this space. You know how we say it. This is where we come to lean on one another's experience to forge a positive path. We're back. What do we have today? I have an interesting topic, yes, and an interesting personality that will do justice to it. What is it? Ghost writing and the ghostwriter. Ooh, don't worry, I'm not spooking you now. Yes, I have this amazing personality who is a ghostwriter and he's been doing it for years now. And he has this what how do I describe it? Don't worry, I'll bring him on very soon. I know you want to see him like I want to see him and hear more about this personality. His name is Dr. Yomi, and when he comes, we will do more of talking about him. Enough of my banter. Where is he? And there he is. Oh,
Hello, how are you?
hello. I'm good, Dr. Yomi. How you doing?
I am in splendid form, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome. So, what is it like where you are now? As in, what's the weather like? What's happening at your end?
Well, my brother, I am in Philadelphia, in the state of Pennsylvania,
Okay.
um, and the winter is just about is on the we're on the threshold of winter. We're still in the fall, what is
Okay.
called the fall, or
Mm-hmm.
in other words, autumn.
Mm-hmm.
But quite frankly, I think because of the global change in climatic conditions,
Mm-hmm.
winter is becoming much earlier than it ought to be this year. Because as I speak to you, the temperature is about 26 degrees Fahrenheit.
Whoa.
That is very, very, very cold outside
Mm,
here. But I'm in my apartment and it's very warm.
beautiful.
And so I'm not feeling the cold. So
All right.
it's
All right.
pleasant. It's okay. Um, what a writer like me needs is just warmth all the time, and I
I
have
can
it.
imagine. I can
And so
imagine.
I'm not really complaining. Yes.
Beautiful. Welcome. Welcome to the World Cafe Live Show.
Thank you.
Well, here in Nigeria, Abuja to be precise, the Federal Capital Territory. What we call Hamatan, like
I
Uh,
know.
yes,
I
I
know
set
Hamatan.
in.
I was born in Katsina. I know Hamatan.
Yes, yes.
I
So
went to school in
during
Zaria, so I know what
oh,
Hamatan is like.
beautiful,
Yeah.
beautiful. During the day, pretty hot, windy, and all that. Then at night, oh, the chills and all that. But
Oh,
we can't complain.
and the
This is
dust. The
and the
dust.
dust exactly. This
Mm,
is what we have. Wonderful. Welcome. So,
thank you.
yes, who is Dr. Yomi Garnett? Let's get to meet him. Let's get to meet Dr. Yomi.
Well, thank you very much, my brother. Um, I usually don't waste too many words in introducing myself because I usually am very crisp, brisk, and clear
Yeah.
about who I am. My name is Yomi Garnett, and I come from a rare and profound place of passion.
Mm,
I'm a medical doctor,
amazing.
and I bring nothing but passion and raw talent to the fine art of creative writing now.
Mm,
No longer in active medical practice, I now live to write and write to live.
I like that.
To express it differently, as a writer, I love what I do, and I do what I love.
Beautiful.
Because of this, I write not only for a living, but also for pleasure.
Mm,
So, this is what I tell people. First and foremost, I'm a writer.
okay.
Secondly, I'm a writer.
Okay.
Thirdly, and even further, I am a writer.
I like that. I'm a writer. I'm a writer. I'm a writer. Any day, anytime. But
Absolutely.
looking at where you're coming from, as in from the medical field now,
Yes.
how did you get here for a medical doctor to embrace and writing? How did you get here?
You have to take it from the pedestal of passion.
Okay.
We have no choice but to take it from the perspective of passion.
Okay.
Let me put it this way. There are no errors where God is concerned.
Mm.
There are only errors where man is concerned.
Mm.
My dear father, a man whom I held in utmost reverence because he was my role model
Yeah.
and he was my hero. On my 6th birthday, called me to the dinner table and said, Yomi, you are going to be a doctor. And I said, yes, sir, because the oracle had spoken.
Mm.
And so he started grooming me to become a medical doctor. On the other hand, he conflicted himself in many respects.
Mm.
When he was in England doing his master's at the University of Birmingham, on
Okay.
his way back home, he brought back 3 trunk loads of books, novels. And when he arrived home, his instruction was clear. Yomi, I want you to finish. I was 8 years old when he arrived back from England.
Mm.
And he said, Yomi, by the time you are 12 years old, I want you to have finished all these books. There were 520 of them.
520. Whoa.
And I finished them.
You don't say.
By the time I was 12, yes, I did. It ought to have shown him that I had an uncommonly strong affinity for the written word.
Mm.
But the problem, I was blinded by the fact that he wanted to be called the father of a doctor. There was no doubt about that. To make matters more interesting, he became the principal of my own secondary school.
Wow.
Therefore, he was able to supervise me very well. He actually placed me in the care of the head boys of the school.
Mm. It's cool.
He'll call them and say, am I a good principal to you? They'll say, yes. This is my son. I want you to become a second father to him.
Mm.
Make sure that he does his assignments, he does everything he's supposed to do because he is going to be a doctor.
Mm.
He was so proud of me. So proud of me. When I finished my secondary school, he sent me straight to Oxford. Straight to Oxford. He said, no way, not in Nigeria. You are going to do everything you're going to do at the best place in the world.
Mm.
And I went to Oxford for my A-levels and my pre-medicals. And I must have been around 16, 17 when my chemistry teacher, my A-level chemistry teacher, looked at me one day and said, who said that you should read medicine? My father. He said, you don't have a scientific brain.
You're more of a writer.
You are a writer because when you write your essays in chemistry, I have to remind myself that I'm not marking literature. And I'll tell you something, I'm so biased that sometimes I give you a grade higher than what you're supposed to earn.
Because of the way you are
Because
telling
let
the
you
story.
are a writer. And I'll tell you something, even if you become a professor of neurosurgery, you are going to go back to writing one way or the other because it's in you.
Mm.
At your age, 17, I must say I have never, ever, and I have read Shakespeare, I've read everything, I've never quite met anyone who can manipulate the English language the way you can.
Mm.
I was 17 then.
Beautiful.
Anyway, over the years, I did read the medicine. I did the first part of it at Oxford. I finished the later part at the University of Benin, Uniben,
Uniben.
because my father could no longer afford the very expensive fees.
Tuition there.
Yeah, tuition in England. Graduated, practiced. Along the line, my father became the king of my place. And he still remained very proud because he used to tell people, your king is the father of a doctor.
That means a lot to him.
It did. But then, about 12 years ago,
Mm.
I looked at myself in the mirror and said, Yomi, you will not go to your grave with your music inside you.
Mm.
And it's not a question of cutting corners.
Yeah.
It is got to be all or nothing.
True.
And so I went over to His Majesty and I said, Your Majesty. And he said, Why are you calling me Your Majesty? It means that you have something serious to say. I said, Well, yeah. It's
He
not the
knows
time
you.
to be my
He
father now.
he knows you so well.
I said, I have read your medicine and I've practiced your medicine. Now I want to do my own thing.
Beautiful.
He said, Yes. I knew the day was going to come. I knew it. I knew it. It's okay. You have my blessing. And so I vacated medical practice and became a full-time writer.
Whoa.
And that is all I do now.
So how long have you been writing now? How long have you been writing?
I left medical practice for all practical purposes in 2005.
Mm.
But then again, don't forget that when you leave a vocation and you have to go into another vocation, it's
There's a
not usually that
transition.
smooth. It's a transition. So I
Yeah.
spent a few years between Abuja and Kaduna
Okay.
on consultancy work, workshops.
Mhm. Yeah.
I started out with stress management. I wrote a book on stress management and
Mm.
used that as a platform to be a consultant in stress management.
Mm.
I had closed my own hospital. I ran my own hospital. I had closed it.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Wow.
A very damn good hospital in Kaduna. And I
Mm.
closed it just to face my new life. Of course, I came under a lot of criticism.
Mm.
I mean, people looked at me with contempt. People laughed at me. But today, they are not laughing any longer.
They
They
are
have stopped.
applauding.
No, they don't laugh any longer. They can't even
Yeah.
afford to laugh anyway.
They are applauding now.
They can't even afford to laugh anyway. Because if they laugh, they're only laughing at themselves.
True.
Because I'm living life to the hilt. I'm enjoying my
Mm.
life.
Mm.
Because I write from 6 a.m. to 6 a.m. And that is all I want to do. And I'm enjoying it.
Beautiful. Now, you describe yourself as a writer. I read your work, as in I follow you closely. Your soul conditioning, the way you caption your, what I call them, your capsules. Let me describe them that way, that you give out. Those are little snippets here and there. Yes, your
Yes.
peels. Those are little snippets, which I know is a fall off of the very mighty things you're doing out there. But you describe yourself as a ghost writer.
Mm.
Why ghost writer and ghost writing?
Mm. I started out calling myself a creative writer.
Mm.
And that was a particularly powerful platform for another part of my life,
Okay.
which becomes evident in those things that I write, that you read. Soul
Mhm.
conditioners, soul nuggets, gold
Mhm.
nuggets, mind
Yeah.
condition. Because I'm also what is called a teacher in the school of life.
Mm.
I'm not a pastor. I'm a teacher in the school of life. And that means I teach people how to achieve their highest potentials
Yeah.
in every aspect of their life.
Yeah.
And I think God actually gave me my proficiency in writing so that I could be a conduit for the propagation of his ideals,
Mm-hmm.
as distinct from pulpit ministry.
Mm.
Because I actually consider my work with my proteges as a ministry.
Yeah.
And I use my writing to get across to them. And this is how I started out. And in 2012, I wrote a book called 365 Days of Wisdom,
Mm.
which was a daily compendium for, say, a soul in search of enlightenment.
Yeah.
But then again, I had divine insight and revelation that told me that while it is true that I'm supposed to deploy my acumen in creative writing as much as
Mm.
possible to teach people how to live lives at the highest potential, I also needed to earn a living.
Mm.
And the revelation I got was that I was also sent to people who wanted to express themselves in book form.
Yeah.
And at that time, funnily enough, I was not even aware of the concept of ghostwriting. I didn't even know the word existed.
Yeah. Okay.
And one day, I mentioned it to my wife. I said, over the past 48 hours, I've been getting this inkling. There are people who need, she said, who need to have their books written and they need the help of people like me. She said, well, you don't have to think too much about after all, people, there are biographers.
Mm.
Then I said, yes, my dear, but there are also autobiographers, people who write their own biographies.
True.
And my wife said, I have a very strong suspicion that those who write biographies also write those autobiographies.
Mm.
I said, that may be, you've been making a lot of. She said, why don't we Google and see whether there's any such thing? And then we played around with Googling to see exactly what was available there and came across the word ghostwriting.
Yeah.
And she said, ghostwriting, have you heard of the word ghostwriting before? I said, no. She said, I think we better Google it very well. I Googled it and discovered that ghostwriting is a massive industry in the United States
Mm.
and in the UK and in France and in Germany. And I said, wow, now this is interesting. That means there must be ghostwriting in Nigeria.
Mm.
And of course, I discovered there was ghostwriting in Nigeria. And a very good friend of mine, he died a week to his 50th birthday in 2016.
Oh, what a shame.
He was actually Abuja's most prominent MC.
What's the name?
His name was Collins Adeyemi.
I think I know that name. I think I know
Probably
that
he
name.
was very popular in Abuja. He was, he emceed so many events, both for the federal government, the National Assembly, private individuals. And I told him, I said, listen, my friend, I think it's time for you to take yourself a little bit above the fray. Stop calling yourself master of ceremonies. Start calling yourself director of ceremonies.
Mm.
And again, that is that part of me that you mentioned. I have an incredible knack for coming up with titles for anything. Anything. I mean, as part of my work here in the United States, people actually commission me to title their books only.
Only that's
Or
good.
just invariably, what will happen is that before they heard about me, they'd written their manuscript. And then they look at me and say, what about my title? Is it good enough? And I said, no, I don't like it. He said, can I commission you to design a title for me? I said, no problem. And so I gave him that title, Director of Ceremonies. Then he looked at me and said, well, if you can give me a title, why don't you just go ahead and write a book on my life as Director of Ceremonies? And he became my first ghostwriting client.
Whoa, that was your first assignment.
Absolutely. I wrote,
Beautiful.
it was beautiful. It was his professional biography.
Oh,
And we launched it at the Transcorp Hilton at a beautiful and iconic event.
Mm.
So I went back to Kaduna where I was based after all that. Barely 2 months after that, I just got a phone call from an unknown number. And the person says, hey, is this Dr. Yomi Garnett? I said, yes. He said, this person I'm talking about, his name was, oh my God, we called him Big Mike.
Okay.
He was the district governor of Rotary for Nigeria at a point. And he was a governorship candidate of the Labour Party in Kwara State. And he died in New York just about 6 months ago.
Oh, what a pity.
I'm sure if I get the surname, you'll know the name. Dr. Mike Omotosho.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Mike Omotosho, you know the name?
I do. I do.
Urbane, sophisticated fellow. He died very young. He must have been just about 53.
Oh.
And he said, I want you in Abuja like yesterday because I have 2 books I want to write very quickly. And he became my second client.
Beautiful.
And a series of events succeeded themselves rather rapidly.
Mm.
And 3 years later, I found myself in the United States at the beginning of a most remarkable and glorious career.
Beautiful.
Because between 2016 that I arrived in the United States and now, 6 years,
Mm.
I have written 63 books for different clients.
63 books.
It
That
is a record.
that is an ocean, if not
And
63.
when I say books, I mean books of 150 to 200, 250 pages.
Beautiful.
But then again, I write a book in an average of 45 to 60 days flat.
That's good. That's good.
But then again, that is also hardly surprising. I don't struggle with it.
I think
my life is a testimony to the fact that when you are living in purpose will live in you.
When you're living in purpose will live in you.
Will live in you.
Amazing. Now, not to cut your flow, because looking at where you're coming from, the
Yes.
experience, the wealth of knowledge, the acumen you have amassed over this period, do you have any plan, like to have to institutionalize it in the way that you're passing it from one generation to the other, also giving birth to young ghostwriters and creative minds in that regard?
Absolutely. Do you know the funny thing?
Tell me.
I've become so attuned with you that I'm so comfortable calling you my brother. But then again, there's a bit of formality in what we are doing. What am I supposed to call you? I can't continue to call you my brother.
My name is Amakri. Amakri is away. Yes,
Fine.
but you can.
Yeah,
I like people as in my close friends and all that. Just call me Amax for short.
Amax. Excellent. Splendid. It's funny you should mention this because I am just on the verge of establishing the Ghana Center for Creative Writing.
Beautiful.
As a matter of fact, it's taking off on January the 2nd, 2023. The Ghana Center for Creative Writing is my way of giving back the enormous talent that God has given me so that humanity can benefit from it. Because it's not all about me. I don't see what God gave me as anything for my own ego gratification. I see it as a ministry. I see it as what God would like me to bequeath as a legacy to another generation.
Beautiful.
And I discovered that, especially on LinkedIn, which is my main social media platform, that there are hundreds of young Nigerians out there who have a passion for writing, but who did not necessarily have the kind of foundation that I had. I was very fortunate. By the time you have a 12-year-old who has read 500 books, by the time he's 12,
that is like opening that child onto that, yes.
But mind you, there's absolutely no doubt that after all, my younger brother was given the same instruction, and he just couldn't, of course, he couldn't be bothered. So that goes to show you that I had it in me initially, and what my father did was simply just to galvanize it.
Exactly. The books were like catalysts that.
And then what I did, when I had my own children, two of them, a boy and a girl, when the boy was 6 and the girl was 3, I just went out and bought them 200 books. I said, start reading. Because somebody has set the example for me.
Yeah.
And yes, I'm very proud of the two of them today. While the young man, who is older than the lady, is not into anything literary, he's more into music.
Okay.
He lives in Abuja, he's more into music.
Okay.
But his younger sister took after my literary bent. And she loves reading and likes writing. Though, funnily enough, her own main gift is the visual arts.
Okay.
She could just look at you and within 30 minutes, she has produced it on paper. Now, beautiful. I cannot even draw. I can't draw a straight line. I can't draw a straight line. Everything God gave me is purely communication, both verbal and
Communication.
written. Yes.
Beautiful.
So I'm establishing the Ghana Center for Creative Writing. It's not directly focused on ghostwriting.
Okay.
Perhaps later on I'll have an institute for ghostwriting, but for now, creative writing. Because if you're
Okay.
a good creative writer, you can ghostwrite anyway. And I'm
Mm.
going to start that on January the 2nd. And it's going to be a one-on-one, non-certificated, informal coaching
All right.
where I'll register participants for the coaching program every quarter.
Okay.
And it's going to be one-on-one. And it's not going to
Beautiful.
involve video, podcast, or anything. No, it's very, very simple. Periodically, over the period of the 1 quarter in which I'll be coaching you, I'll give you assignments. Give me
Okay.
a 500 word essay on your first day in the university.
Mm.
Give me a 1,000 word essay on your, if you've traveled out of Nigeria, your experience at that holiday lodge in South Africa.
Yeah.
Write me a 100 or 200 word letter, love letter to your wife.
Mm.
Write a birthday message to your wife telling her you love her. So I'll use this to train you in all elements of writing, creative writing, punctuation,
Beautiful.
lexical structure,
Yeah.
sentence construction, paragraphing.
Yeah.
It's a very
Amazing.
unique method I'm coming up with. And
Amazing.
it's easy for me
Amazing.
because it's what I do on a daily basis, editing and writing. And it's
Yeah.
easier for you because you are working on the template of what you have given me.
True.
So there's not going to be any formal curriculum saying that we are going to talk about punctuation today. No, we are simply going to work spontaneously with what you have given me.
Amazing.
So this is my plan for the future, where the I already have about 25 people registered,
Okay.
waiting
Registered.
between
Oh,
the
on the
United States,
waiting list.
the UK, and Nigeria.
And Nigeria.
That's right.
Whoa.
That's right.
Beautiful. Amazing. Guys, we've been discussing with Dr. Yomi Garnett, a ghostwriter par excellence. I mean, you will agree with me. He's just expressing how he feels. He enjoys what he does. I mean, you see it in his eyes, hear it in his voice and everything. His the passion is just all over him. And it's an honor having him on the show today. So now, beyond that, now we know there's a plan to like create that institute and pass on knowledge and create more writers. Beyond that, do you have anything particularly for your home country, Nigeria, your birthplace? Like, this is one thing you want to see happen within this space of creative writing?
As a matter of fact, this initiative I've just told you about, the Ghana Center for Creative Writing,
Yep.
quite frankly, was motivated purely by my desire to see young, aspiring Nigerian writers fulfill their dreams of becoming proficient writers.
Mm.
I was
Yep.
not motivated into it because of American citizens.
Mm.
I was motivated to it by the young men and women in Nigeria. So, for all practical purposes, it's actually for them.
Great.
And I'll tell you I'll give you a reason why it's clearly for them.
Mm.
They are not going to pay their fees in dollars.
Okay.
They are
Good.
going to pay in naira.
That's quite encouraging.
That's number one. And then, while we have not actually come to the specific fee yet, but it's going to be, well, let me put it this way, it's going to have to be affordable.
Mm.
It's not a question of it's going to be affordable. It's going to have to be
Have to
affordable.
be.
It's
I
simple
like
because we
I
know the way
like
the
that.
economy is, and
Yeah.
we want to encourage these young men and women.
Yeah.
Let's start talking about 1 million naira.
Mm.
You can't be talking, as a matter of fact, even to be talking about 500,000.
Mm.
We've got to come to a fee structure. Now I'm still meeting with my team here because I have a small team with
All
me here
right.
in United States. They're
Okay.
part of my company, the Royal Biographical Institute.
Yeah.
We are still looking at it. I'm trying to see what it is I can come up with that will be a reasonable fee for the average Nigerian. I
Okay.
mean, I want a young man to be able to walk up to his uncle to say, listen, I have this opportunity to be trained by one of a very proficient writer.
Yeah.
It's a period of 3 months and he's charging so and so. Uncle, please, can you sponsor it for me? So it's got to be something that most uncles and aunties can say, okay, this is a very wonderful thing you are doing. You can have it. But
Beautiful.
if you walk up to your uncle and say, I need $1 million, your uncle will say, you think you're the only person I'm taking care of?
True.
So
True.
it is primarily for Nigerians.
Amazing.
But then again, my network is very vast. Like I told you, I am mentor to a lot of people, and they are all over the world. I have proteges in Japan, I have in China, I have in the southern part of Africa, Kenya,
Okay.
Zimbabwe, Botswana, especially South Africa,
Yeah.
and quite a number of them are already expressing interest in this coaching thing that I want to kick off in January. They will be constrained to pay their fees in dollars.
Okay.
Other parts of the world will have to pay in dollars. But for Nigeria, this is something I want to do specifically for Nigeria. This is what I want to contribute to my own country.
Beautiful.
Because I can tell you, Amat, that I wherever I go in the world, as far as I'm concerned, I am a Nigerian. And I'll always be proud of my Nigerian passport.
To the bones.
To the bones. To the bones, I can tell you that. I'm not interested in being a citizen of another country. Yes, I feel privileged to be in the United States, where it's a society that brings out the very best in you.
In you.
That is the thing about the United States. It brings out the best if you know what you are doing, and if you are proficient in what you do, and you are not lazy, you have industry, you have originality. America truly is God's own country when it comes to bringing out the best in human potential, which is why America is what it is today anyway. You find that the best doctors in the United States are Nigerians. The best engineers in the United States are Nigerians and Ghanaians. So, but
beautiful.
I am Nigerian centered.
I like that.
Nigeria is the centerpiece of my professional policy.
Beautiful.
And I'm paraphrasing the late General Murtala Mohammed, who said, Africa is the centerpiece of our foreign policy. For me, Nigeria is the centerpiece of my professional policy.
Amazing. Amazing. Oh my guys, we can go on and on discussing with Dr. Yomi, but time is not our friend when it comes to things like this. When we are in that space and we're enjoying ourselves, it's like everything stops. And when you turn, it's like, wow, you mean you spend this? I mean, I'm talking. Yo, I like that. I like that statement you just made. Nigeria is the centerpiece of my purpose.
My professional policy.
Yes, whatever I'm doing, you can't take that away. Now I'm going to ask you this. I know you're busy. I'm going to ask you this, then maybe one or two, and we call it a day.
Okay.
Now, considering where you are and the things you do, I always love asking these questions, as in this particular question to my guest. You know, how do you juggle your life, family, and all of that? How do you unwind? How do you create that, balance, so to say?
Well, Max, first of all, my family, I have the love and support of my family when it comes to what I do, especially my wife. She has given me all the support. I mean, I have a permission to be in the United States to pursue my passion.
Beautiful.
What better way can she give her permission? My children give me the same degree of support. And so I work unfettered. I work with a very wide latitude of support from close family. On my part, writing is my vocation. Writing is my hobby.
Mm.
I write for fun. Therefore, I don't have to look elsewhere for recreation.
I can
I
imagine.
have it in my vocation.
It is therapeutic for you, more or
It is
less.
therapeutic. I when I'm not writing books for as I'm speaking to you, I'm writing 5 different books for different clients at the same time, right now in
Whoa.
this particular season. And don't forget, I'm also a grant writer.
Mm-hmm.
I write grants. I'm also a copywriter. I'm
Mm.
also a speech writer.
Mm.
I write just about anything. Just about 4 months ago, somebody in Boston, Massachusetts got in touch with me and said, Doc, it's my wife's birthday, and I want to write her a love letter. I'm commissioning you to
Beautiful.
do it for me. And I did it.
Amazing.
And he told me that his wife said, Oh, come now. You didn't write this letter. I know you. Who did it? And he said he had to confess to her that, oh my God, it's some guy in Philadelphia,
Oh
some Nigerian
my.
in Philadelphia. And she said, That's right. I need him too to do some writing for me. So
That's good.
this is the beauty of what I do. Now,
Beautiful.
I write, I meditate. I meditate a lot
Mm.
because that allows me to go into my inner person.
Mm.
And these are the kind of things that I do for recreation. I
Question.
don't watch movies. I don't even have a TV set
Mm.
in my apartment. I can afford a TV set naturally,
Mm.
but
But it's you,
I can't afford the time to watch TV.
you find it distracting.
No, 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 no. I've watched enough movies in my youth. No more movies for me. I don't watch movies. Now the thing is this. Recreation is not a big deal for me, and I'll just summarize it.
Yeah.
When you do that which you love and which you have passion for,
Mm.
you don't have to work a day any longer in your life.
Mm. Mm.
Therefore, when I'm at work, I'm already at play. My work is my recreation. My recreation is my work. So I don't have to look for excitement anywhere else. I have it with my writing. Am I
I
reading?
like
Am I
I
reading?
like the I like the way you sum your thoughts. It's like saying, "This is where I find my rest."
That's all.
So where else do you want me to go?
There's
This is
nothing
where
else
I
for me
find
to
my
do.
rest.
I don't go to
There's
have to go
nothing
to
else.
I don't have to go
There,
to a nightclub for fun. I don't have to go and drink for fun. When I'm writing, I'm having fun. Why do I have to go out to
beautiful,
look for fun again? Sometimes I don't leave my apartment, step out of my apartment in 15 days at a stretch.
beautiful, beautiful. Oh my guys, when you find your rest, work becomes play and
Ab-
play becomes work for you.
Absolutely.
That is
Absolutely.
what I just got there. Dr.
Absolutely.
Yomi, you just need to come back and for us to have this conversation again and again
I
and
promise you I'll
again.
make myself available when you want me again.
Thank you so much. People, our time is a friend when you know how to manipulate it to your advantage. We've been discussing with Dr. Yomi Garnett, our renowned world class ghostwriter. I'm not saying this because he's standing or rather sitting right in front of me now. I'm telling you because I've been following him closely. His writings are not just provoking, they evoke something in me each time I see them. Just like he has described there, there's this rest when I read his write ups. There's this rest. And from that position, I get inspired and I begin to write. It's an honor having him here in this space to share with us. Wherever you are listening, hearing, there's an opportunity. You want to express yourself in that space creatively and all that. He has a program coming up. I'm going to allow him introduce his social media, should I say, points, where to catch him, where to see him, where to follow him. Dr. Yomi, please go ahead.
Well, before I do that, Amax, I'm going to preempt you and do something for you.
Thank you.
I'm not going to give you the burden of having to run after me for another episode. I'm going to present myself for another episode.
Amazing.
This is the
Amazing.
reason. There's something that we still have. I know you still want us to talk about, but time is your constraint. And
Yes.
that you want me to talk. You want to ask me the question: who is a ghostwriter?
Yes.
What does a ghostwriter do? What is the
Yes.
process of ghostwriting?
Exactly.
My friend Amax, let us consider this episode 1.
Okay.
We'll have an episode 2 where we're
2
going to talk about ghostwriting itself.
itself.
That is,
Beautiful.
if you deem it necessary.
I deem it necessary. I deem it necessary.
Then I avail you of my time when you are ready.
Wonderful.
Let's say sometime in January or early
Okay.
February.
Okay. That works. That works.
Good. So my social media handles. I have only one. LinkedIn.
LinkedIn.
I used to be on Facebook, but Facebook became a bit too distracting for my liking. And so I left Facebook. I'm also on WhatsApp. And I'll tell you what, WhatsApp, like you very well know, is more of communication.
Yeah.
Because it's personal interface,
Yeah.
or group individual interface.
Interface, yeah.
But I have a message that I sent to 525 people all over the world, and I've been doing that every day consistently for the past 2 years. I tend to continue with it.
I do receive it.
You receive it.
Yes.
So I am willing to give your audience the latitude of joining me on that. And that is WhatsApp. And the number is +1 215. That's the Philadelphia. 1 is the United States code. Okay. 215 is the Philadelphia code. 936 1229. I repeat, +1 215 936 1229. And I'm on it as Dr. Yomi Garnett, or sometimes Abayomi Garnett.
Beautiful.
And LinkedIn, I'm on LinkedIn as Dr. Yomi Garnett.
Right. I'm going to add it to my show note so that my audience would, pick it up from there and, more or less like get in touch and begin to receive those soul nuggets and soul conditioners. Beautiful. I'm so grateful for this opportunity. So, guys, you heard him. We are going to have a part 2 to this discussion sometime in 2023, where we're going to sit down and look at ghostwriting in its entirety. That particular time, we're not going to restrain him. We're going to allow him school us, teach us, more or less have that crunch or crash, whatever we want to call it, program in this space. Thank you so much, Dr. Yomi. I am super, super excited. Thank you for this opportunity. Before I let you go, one last word for my audience.
Well, I suppose the only word that could make any sense in this final lap of a few seconds before we close is it is all about passion. All else is ineffectual commentary. It is all about passion. Aliko Dangote is the wealthiest black man on earth because he has a passion for making money.
Yeah.
Mr. Tony Elumelu is the chairman of the bank with the biggest asset base on the African continent because he has a passion for entrepreneurship. Professor Wole Soyinka is one of only two African Nobel laureates because he has a passion for creative writing and comparative linguistics, languages.
Yeah.
General General Ibrahim Babangida
Mm.
had a passion for power. And power came to him because he sought it and he got it. He had a passion for power. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
It's an entirely different thing. What he did
Yeah.
with power, that's different.
Totally.
It's just like me, I'm a writer. Am I using my writer for good or not for good? That is an entirely different thing. So you will discover that everything that makes the world go round is all about passion.
Passion.
Lionel Richie, Diana Ross, Whitney Houston, King Sunny Ade, Ebenezer Obey, Fela Anikulapo Kuti, Davido, Burna Boy, whatever they call him,
Yeah, the Bonner Boy.
Chris Daniels, Dr. Cosmos Maduka,
Costaris.
Koskaris Motors. It is all about passion. Muhammad Ali, Pele, the most successful people in the world have a passion for what they do. And it's not all about money. But guess what? The money inexorably comes. Because when you give that for which you are created to the world has no choice than to compensate you. And handsomely for that matter.
True.
The only thing is, there is no overnight success.
True.
The myth of overnight success is nothing but a myth. Denzel Washington, you know the name, I'm sure.
Yeah, Denzel.
Was once asked, I said, what does it feel like to be an overnight success? And he said, 30 years is a very long night. 20 years ago, Denzel Washington could not pay his rent. No, 25 years ago. He couldn't pay his rent in Los Angeles. Today, Denzel Washington is paid $50 million for a movie. And he made 4 movies in 2021. That is passion. That is skill. That is talent. That is what makes the world go round. Thank you very much. It's been a delight being with you.
Awesome. Guys,
permit me to wish you an excellent rest of your day.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yomi. Amazing. I like that. I like that closing remark there, as in the closing words, passion. You know, the minute you said passion, what came to my mind was that scripture, the zeal of the house of the Lord has consumed me. And when you look at that word zeal, it's passion. That is passion driving me and all that. Beautiful. We are so grateful you took out this time to, do this with us. Guys, you know how we do it on the show. This is the space where we come to lean on one another's experience, to forge a positive path. It has been an amazing time, but we have to go now. And you know how we do it on the show. Bye for now. Dr. Yomi?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bless you.